For as complicated as it seemed like it was going to be as we landed the plane on the 2021 NFL season, it's pretty simple at this point. The Eagles got in last night, even though they're currently 7th in the pecking order by virtue of Minnesota's loss. The 49ers are the 6th seed, but they will not make it if they lose to the Rams on Sunday. And by the way, the 49ers have beaten the Rams 5 straight times. If the Rams rise up and win, 49ers lose, and the Saints win at Atlanta, the Saints take the last spot in the NFC field, Mike. It's just crazy that it's so simple after it seemed in both conferences like it was going to be so complicated.
This is the time of year where you play a game and you scoreboard watch. It was like last night as I'm calling the Green Bay, Minnesota game. Who was watching intently was Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia beat Washington earlier in the day. Now you're waiting and rooting for another team. If Green Bay wins, Philly's in. And that's what happened. So there's more reason to celebrate. I remember one year, our last game of the season was against the Cowboys in Dallas. We played them. We won the game, but we needed another outcome, and they were playing at the same time. We finished before them. We didn't even go into the locker room because that other game was about to end. We were huddled on the sideline. Our PR director was on the phone on the sideline. Everybody's wondering, why the hell aren't they going back in the locker room? The game's over. We were waiting to hear, what had happened in that game from him. He was on the phone with that stadium, and it turned out we got what we wanted, and we were all celebrating on Dallas's field, because we had gotten in. So that's the time of year it is, whether you control your own destiny, where you just take care of your own business, or when you need help. And all of a sudden, games are scheduled in a certain way. So you kind of know what you need maybe by the time you play the game. Or like I said, when we played, it was at the exact same time where you got to play and not knowing what the other team is doing, but you're playing while keeping an eye on the scoreboard. And you hear coaches say, some coaches have said, we're not showing the score. We got to concentrate on our game because we don't get anywhere unless we take care of business. But man, everybody wants to know. And nowadays, this was back, in the 80s. Nowadays, it's so easy to get the score and find out what's going on. So you have that one eye on the scoreboard a little bit more.
I remember there was that great moment from 4 years ago after the conclusion of a Browns-Steelers game in Pittsburgh. It was basically open-air drive-in theater watching what happened with the Ravens and the Bengals as the Steelers were hoping that the Ravens won the game, I believe. The Bengals ended up winning, and that got Buffalo in, and the Buffalo fans flooded Andy Dalton's charity with all sorts of contributions as a thank you for doing that. All right, so what happened yesterday in the NFC, the Eagles come from behind to beat the Washington football team 20-16, 4 straight wins for the Eagles, coupled with Minnesota's loss last night. The Eagles punched their ticket to the postseason. Here's the biggest story for me coming out of this game, how close of a call it was for Jalen Hurts as he was leaving the field. And this is horrifying. I can make some light of it because nobody got injured. This is the kind of thing that the former trial lawyer in me is horrified by, because we always resided in the worst case scenario came to life and we had to reconstruct what happened. Well, somebody did a poor job of designing, constructing, maintaining, supervising, whatever, because there went that wall. And if Jalen Hurts is 2-3 steps farther along, they land on him, somehow no one was injured, that is completely inexcusable for a place of public accommodation where folks are showing up, paying money to attend games, to not have everything in place to ensure that an excess amount of weight pressed against that railing is not going to cause it to fall. That is basic engineering and safety consideration. Here's Jalen Hurts talking about what almost happened to him yesterday as he was leaving FedEx Field.
I'm just happy everybody's safe from it. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff right there. That was a real dangerous situation. I'm just so happy everybody bounced back from it. It seemed like it. Passion of the Eagles fans. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, look, Mike, it's good news that everyone's fine. And, people complain about lawyers and lawsuits, but the threat of litigation is the kind of thing that should get people to do the right thing. If nothing else, if the desire to do the right thing, even though it may cost you some money, isn't enough to get you to do the right thing and make sure that you're properly safeguarding the welfare of the folks who are your paying customers, the threat of litigation should do it. That whatever the explanation, that's not supposed to happen. when that happens, that means somebody screwed up and somebody was probably being too cheap. And, oh, by the way, that's the worst stadium in the NFL by far. But they're very lucky somebody didn't get seriously injured.
Oh, incredibly lucky, and would have been one of those people. Yeah, like you said, with the lawsuit. But I mean, you want to talk about a freak thing as far as from the football aspect, that Jalen Hurts been a little farther and that fell on top of him. So first and foremost, and thank God the fans are okay and everybody was okay. Then it turned into 2022 or this generation. What did everybody do? I mean, first, Jalen stayed there to help people up, make sure they were okay. And then everybody pulled out their camera. Everybody wanted a selfie. Everybody was taking a picture of it because it turned out this situation was okay. But yeah, I mean, that's horrific. Unfortunately, we've seen other situations where at sporting events where things haven't ended well in sports, not just football and other sports. So it's a scary moment. Is what a very joyful time after a game for that split second turns into an incredibly scary moment, and everybody, you hold your breath just to make sure everybody gets up and everybody seems okay, which they did. So that obviously is the most important thing.
There's an obligation on the parts of all teams and stadium operators to constantly be assessing for safety risks to anyone in the building. Remember when the Rams were in their final days in St. Louis, there was that slick concrete around the edge. Like Reggie Bush suffered a serious injury and ended up filing suit against the stadium authority for that. I mean, it's amazing to me how often it happens where someone falls over a railing that was too low and gets seriously injured or killed, or there's some hazard to the athlete. It really doesn't take a whole lot of brain power to do a full assessment of where the risks are, and somebody screwed up badly, and they're lucky that someone wasn't seriously injured.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.